SpaceX Crew 11 launch to ISS, ISRO NASA's new SAR satellite, weekly space launch roundup. The space race heats up, a week of groundbreaking launches. This week marks an exhilarating chapter in the world of space exploration, with a staggering 12 launches planned globally, making it one of the busiest weeks of 2025. Among these, SpaceX is gearing up for 4 missions using its reliable Falcon 9 rocket, including the highly anticipated Crew 11 mission to the International Space Station ISS. In addition to SpaceX's endeavors, Rocket Lab is set to launch its suborbital Electron rocket named HASTE from the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia midweek. Blue Origin is also in the mix, preparing to send 6 passengers on a suborbital journey aboard its New Shepard rocket. On the international front, Australia witnessed its first domestically manufactured rocket attempt, a launch, albeit unsuccessfully, while China has 4 launches lined up. Furthermore, a collaborative scientific mission between NASA and ISRO was successfully launched from India. Xuankuxian-1, Kunpeng 03. On July 29, iSpace's Xuankuxian-1 rocket made its 8th flight after a year-long pause due to a failure in its previous mission. This 4-stage rocket, standing approximately 21 meters tall, lifted off from Site 95A at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in China. The launch window opened at 4:03 UTC and closed at 5 o'clock UTC, with liftoff anticipated at 4:10 UTC. Initially, the payload was a mystery, but it was later disclosed to be the Kunpeng 03 satellite. This commercial Earth observation satellite boasts an impressive imaging capability, with a resolution of less than 1 meter. After experiencing 4 failures in its 7 previous flights, iSpace is optimistic that the upgrades made over the past year will enhance the rocket's reliability and improve its success rate to 50%. Eris, Test Flight 1. After several attempts, Gilmour Space successfully launched its Eris rocket on July 29 at 22:35 UTC from the Bowen Orbital Spaceport in Abbott Point, Australia. Unfortunately, shortly after liftoff, an engine issue caused the rocket to veer off course and crash near the launch pad. Prior to this, delays had been attributed solely to adverse weather conditions, particularly strong upper winds, which made Gilmour cautious about proceeding with the launch. The Eris rocket symbolizes a point of pride for Australians, as its emblem proudly states that it is Australian-made. This mission was particularly significant, as it was set to be the first orbital launch from Australian soil by a domestically built vehicle. Despite the setback, Gilmour Space remains enthusiastic about the progress made, noting that the rocket did manage to ascend beyond the height of the launch tower. Falcon 9 Block 5 Starlink Group 1029. The first batch of Starlink satellites for the week was launched into low Earth orbit, LEO, atop a Falcon 9 rocket on July 29 at 11:37 p.m. EDT, 3:37 UTC on July 30th. This mission, known as Starlink Group 1029, included 27 Starlink V2 mini satellites and took off from Space Launch Complex 40, SLC-40. At Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida, the Falcon booster B1069 successfully completed its 26th flight after a brief refurbishment period of just 37 days. After propelling the second stage into space, the booster landed on SpaceX's drone ship, just read the instructions, stationed in the Atlantic Ocean, Changzheng 8A, Guangwang. On July 30th at 7:49 UTC, the Changzheng 8 rocket, operated by CASC, successfully launched, carrying 9 Guangwang communication satellites into LEO. The launch took place from commercial LC-1 at the Wenchang Space Launch Site in China. These Guangwang satellites are part of a larger plan to create a mega-constellation of Internet satellites, with a total of 13,000 satellites intended for both low Earth and geostationary orbits. This ambitious project aims to compete with SpaceX's Starlink constellation, but it will be limited to serving users within China. This mission marked the 6th flight for the Changzheng 8A and the 3rd of the year. GSLV Mk2, NISAR. In a significant collaboration, the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, and NASA successfully launched the NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar (SAR) satellite into a Sun-synchronous orbit (SSO) atop a GSLV Mark II rocket. The liftoff occurred at 12:10 UTC on July 30th from the second launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in India. SAR is designed to map Earth's elevation 4 to 6 times a month with a resolution ranging from 5 to 10 meters. This satellite will focus on monitoring ecosystem disturbances, including earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, landslides, and the collapse of ice sheets. NASA contributed the L-band Synthetic Aperture Radar, SAR, a high-rate telecommunications system, GPS receivers, a solid-state recorder, and a payload data subsystem. Meanwhile, ISRO provided the satellite bus, the S-band SAR, and the launch services. The launch of SAR marked the 18th mission for the GSLV Mark II and the second of 2025, as well as ISRO's 99th launch, bringing the organization closer to its milestone of 100 launches, which is expected to be achieved later this year. Kuaizhou 1A, PRSC-S1. On July 31st, the PRSC-S1 satellite was launched from the Xichang Satellite Launch Center in China. The Kuaizhou 1A rocket, operated by Xbase, took off from the mobile launcher pad, marking its 30th mission. The launch window opened at 1:51 UTC and lasted until 2:39 UTC, with liftoff scheduled for 2 o'clock UTC. Falcon 9 Block 5, Starlink Group 13-4. The second batch of Starlink satellites for the week is set to launch on the Starlink Group 13-4 mission from Space Launch Complex 4 East, SLC-4E, at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. Liftoff is planned for 11:39 a.m. EDT, 15:39 UTC, on Wednesday, July 30th. The booster B-1071 will attempt to land on SpaceX's autonomous drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. Stationed in the Pacific Ocean, just 37 days after its last mission, this launch will also mark Falcon's 500th recovery attempt, underscoring the company's strong commitment to reusability. Falcon 9 Block 5, SpaceX Crew 11, after a last-minute scrub on July 31st, which occurred just seconds before the scheduled launch. What was initially intended to be the final launch of July 2025 is now likely to take place as the first mission of August. SpaceX and NASA are set to launch the Crew 11 mission to the ISS on August 1st at 11:43 p.m. EDT, 15:43 UTC. The launch will occur from the historic Launch Complex 39A, LC-39A, at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, sending 4 astronauts on a 6-month mission focused on scientific research. The crew consists of NASA astronauts Zena Cardman, commander, and Mike Finke, pilot, along with JAXA astronaut Kimia Yui, mission specialist, and Russian cosmonaut Oleg Platonov, mission specialist. Booster B-1094 will be on its 3rd mission and will perform a return-to-launch site landing at SpaceX's Landing Zone 1, LZ-1, after stage separation. Crew Dragon C-206 Endeavour will make its 6th flight to the ISS after undergoing 515 days of refurbishment. Electron Jake-4. Rocket Lab is preparing to launch a suborbital mission, Jake-4, using its Hypersonic Accelerator's Suborbital Test Electron, HASTE, testbed on August 1st at 9:45 p.m. EDT, 1:45 UTC on August 2nd. This launch will take place from Rocket Lab's Launch Complex 2, LC-2, at Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. The HASTE variant of the Electron rocket is designed for suborbital flights and will not reach orbit. The payload for this mission remains highly classified, but it's believed to be a hypersonic re-entry missile equipped with an air-breathing engine, allowing it to maneuver accurately towards its target, whether on land or in the air. Rocket Lab has successfully completed 3 HASTE missions to date, indicating a growing market demand for launching payloads to suborbital space at hypersonic speeds. New Shepard NS-34. Blue Origin is set to launch New Shepard for its 34th mission and 14th human flight, carrying 6 individuals to suborbital space. This launch will take place from Launch Site 1 in West Texas on August 3rd at 7:30 a.m. EDT, 12:30 UTC. The passengers include Arvi Bahal, Gokhan Erdem, Deborah Martorell, Lionel Pitchford, J.D. Russell, and H.E. Justin Sun, who will finally redeem his ticket after winning the bid for the first ever seat on New Shepard, but missing the previous flight due to scheduling conflicts. Additionally, J.D. Russell will be flying for the second time, having previously participated in NS-28. Falcon 9 Block 5, Starlink Group 1030. Another Starlink mission is scheduled for launch on August 4th at 12:11 a.m. EDT, or 4:11 UTC, from SLC-40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. This mission will carry 28 Starlink V2 mini satellites into low Earth orbit with a 53.1-degree inclination. The booster, B-1080, will guide these satellites on a northeastern trajectory until approximately 8 minutes into the flight, at which point the second stage will take over, while the first stage attempts to land on one of SpaceX's autonomous drone ships. Just read the instructions. Changzheng 12, Guowang. On August 4th, a Chinese Changzheng 12 rocket will launch from commercial LC-2 at the Wenchang Space Launch Site, carrying an undisclosed number of Guowang satellites into low Earth orbit. The launch window will open at 10:14 UTC and close at 10:42 UTC, with a planned liftoff at 10:20 UTC. Given that this is the second launch of Guowang communication satellites within the same week, the constellation is expected to expand rapidly in the coming months. If the current launch pace continues, the goal of deploying 13,000 satellites into orbit to provide reliable internet service for the Chinese population may soon be realized. SpaceX Falcon 9 launches 19 Starlink satellites, successfully lands booster number 27. Imagine this: a rocket soaring through the sky, delivering a fleet of satellites into orbit, and then gracefully returning to a drone ship at sea. This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie. It's a routine day for SpaceX. The aerospace company has just launched another batch of Starlink broadband satellites, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in space exploration. But here's where it gets controversial. This launch isn't just about technology. It's about changing the way we think about internet access and space debris. Let's dive in. On July 31st, at precisely 2:35 p.m. EDT, 18:35 GMT, 11:35 a.m. local California time, a Falcon 9 rocket took off from the foggy Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. This wasn't just any launch. It carried 19 Starlink satellites, each designed to beam internet access down to Earth. The rocket's first stage, after completing its job, made a dramatic return, touching down on the SpaceX drone ship named Of Course I Still Love You in the Pacific Ocean about 8.5 minutes later. This particular booster, designated 1071, has now completed 27 launches and landings, just 2 shy of SpaceX reuse record. And this is the part most people miss. This launch was the 500th overall Falcon 9 mission, a milestone that underscores SpaceX's dominance in the space industry. But what about the previous missions of Booster 1071? This veteran rocket has a great track record, having successfully completed numerous missions before today's launch. Its reliability is a testament to SpaceX's engineering prowess and their commitment to reusability, a key factor in making space travel more affordable and accessible. The Falcon 9's upper stage, meanwhile, continued its journey, carrying the 19 Starlink satellites toward low Earth orbit. If all goes according to plan, these satellites will be deployed 63 minutes after launch, joining the more than 8,000 other active satellites in the Starlink megaconstellation, the largest spacecraft assembly ever constructed. Today's launch was the 94th Falcon 9 mission of the year, a staggering number that highlights SpaceX's relentless pace of innovation. But it wasn't supposed to be the only show in town. SpaceX also attempted to launch the Crew 11 astronaut mission to the International Space Station for NASA, but bad weather forced a scrub with just about a minute left on the countdown clock. This double-header launch attempt shows SpaceX's ambition and capability, but it also raises questions about the potential risks and challenges of such rapid-fire space missions. So what do you think? Is SpaceX's rapid pace of launches a cause for celebration or concern? Are we on the brink of a new era of space exploration, or are we rushing headlong into uncharted territory? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's spark a conversation about the future of space travel and the role companies like SpaceX will play in shaping it. And if you have a news tip, correction, or comment, don't hesitate to reach out. We're all ears.